Hey guys, we're here. Welcome back. Today I'm bringing you another Brawlmachine Battlereport with Legion versus my Scyrah. Today I'm playing against Matt again for our rematch. So before I move on to the lists, Matt has an Instagram page for his artwork. Please visit his Instagram. I'll post links down in the descriptions below. Uh, please give him a visit, give him a follow, just so that we can support each other. All right, let's move on to the lists. Matt is bringing with him Absylonia 2 in a Primal Terror's Team Force. His battle group consists of Absylonia 2, Angelius, Proteus. The rest of his army is composed of a Spell Martyr, a Warmonger Warchief, and a full unit of Blighted Ogren Warmongers with Gorag Roddenai. I am bringing with me my boy Thyron, who just got a big update from the recent CID, and my god, this is glorious. The changes to him are just perfect. I've always wanted to make it work. Before this, it was very difficult. Now you will see the performance of the CID. So I'm not that skilled to actually tell you why the changes are good. There are a lot of other channels, other blog posts that can probably give you that. But if you would like to listen to my opinions about the CID, the changes, the updates, please write down in the comments. I'll probably make a segment for that. But alright, let's move on to my actual list. So I am bringing Thyron, Sword of Truth. His battle group consists of a Banshee and a Harpy. His army consists of a Mage Hunter Assassin, a Nard, Mage Hunter Pios, Scythe, a minimum unit of Mage Hunter Infiltrators, and a Spears of Scyrah. Do note that I am using Conflict Chamber, and Conflict Chamber has not yet updated its pointage. I used War Room to get the right points, but for this Battlereport, I am using Conflict Chamber as my visual guide. So let's move on to deployment and tables. For deployment, I'll describe the table first. We are playing the Ignition scenario from the Brawlmachine version 1 rulebook. So our table consists of 3 forests, 2 on the top half of the board, 1 small one to the south, a cloud in the center in the circle zone, a swamp pit on the middle of the board in the north side, a house on the northeast side of the table, another house on the left side, southern half, a wall, and a rubble patch on the right-hand side of the table. For deployment, we both rolled. I got the choice to choose first or deploy, pick sides. I chose to pick side. I know that the clouds and the forest, the cloud wouldn't really help me with his eyeless sight, but I was hoping to slow down Matt with the house and the forest in front of his deployment zone, whereas I would have very little difficulties of movement, as all of my stuff except for Thyron himself and the Banshee don't have. So all of my units have Pathfinder except for Thyron and the Banshee. So Matt is now forced to deploy on the north half. He puts Absylonia dead center. To her right are the full unit of Blighted Ogrons, and the Warmonger Warchief. On his left are both of his heavy Warjacks and the Spell Martyr. To the south, on my deployment, I counter-deployed with Thyron, right dead in the center. To his left, he's supported by the Banshee. To his right are the Spears of Scyrah and the minimum unit of Mage Hunter Infiltrators. On my left-hand flank, to try and get additional support and probably claim the flag, I have Scythe and the Harpy. So for my advanced deployment, I put Narn dead center and the Mage Hunter Assassin on the right-hand flank. So turn 1 begins with Matt playing first. He starts off with Absylonia. He casts Bracer on the Proteus and Return Fire on Angelius, and he charges right to the center of the board. He then moves his Blighted Ogrons to the getting funneled right in the middle of the swamp and the house. his Warmonger War Chief moves to the right-hand side of the house. Both of his War Beasts run forward. The Spell Martyr moves closer to the flag. We have to note that the Angelius is trying to outflank me by hiding behind the forest at this point. So I start off my turn. I activate Scythe. I move her up to the flag. I then activate Nar. I run him to the right-hand side of the circle zone. I am trying to get some angles to charge or shoot his infantry. I move up the Mage Hunter Assassin right behind the wall to get her protected from any charges. I am trying to keep note of Matt's threat ranges from the Ogrons because I know they are a threat, especially Berserk. I then follow up the two Mage Hunter solos with the Mage Hunter Infiltrators right between them. And I move the Harpy to support Scythe on the left-hand flank. I then move the Banshee up north, trying to counter the Proteus. But I think at this point, it might be a mistake as I no longer have any shooting angles. But I am afraid of his potential to charge, especially with the 4-inch reach from the Proteus tentacles. So I am double, what they call that, I'm questioning my actions here as I do commentary. But right after that, I move Thyron. I move him up right beside the Banshee. I cast Storm Rager on Thyron himself. And then Fury on the Spears of Scyrah. And that ends my turn for turn 1. For Matt's turn 2, he upkeeps both of the spells on his War Beasts and brings up Absylonia's total fury to 4. He starts off with Absylonia and moves her up near the flag. He then moves the Angelius from behind the left-hand side of the woods into right behind the house. He then moves his Blighted Ogrons very conservatively, in my opinion. He places them right between the house and the forest and the middle flag. I think his goal here was to try and out-attrition me, as I think he didn't. Again, I don't know what Matt was thinking at this point, but I assume that he might have believed that the Mage Hunter infiltrators might not be able to kill all of the Ogrons, and just with the Vengeance moves, he would be able to wipe out their squad because of Vengeance and Berserk. So he follows up the squad with the Warmonger solo and places him right in the forest. So his last activation is the Proteus, which he takes a long time to decide as I have multiple threats facing him. So I have Nar on his right hand side, the Spears of Scyrah on the left, and Thyron and the Banshee in the middle. I think he was looking for a place to protect himself from charges, as unlike him, I cannot see through the clouds. So with the Proteus, that marks the end of his turn, and let's move on to mine. So for my turn 2, I know that this is my fleet turn, as all if not most of Matt's stuff are within my charge range. So I'm calculating how I do the order of operations here, but I realize I made a mistake with Thyron's placement while we were playing, and that is because of I did not activate the right model at the right time. So let's go through the turn slowly. I start off with Scythe. My initial idea here is Scythe can pick off the Spell Martyr, and then Matt has actually placed Absylonia within 2 inches of the flag. Of the Spell Martyr that is on the flag. So I was hoping that with Scythe's multi-attack, I would be able to kill the Spell Martyr and then shift the rest of the 3 attacks onto Absylonia. But As usual, what happens is Scythe Whip. If Scythe had managed to do that, I don't really care if she damages Absylonia or not. I was hoping to kill the Spell Martyr and trigger Sprint, and then move Scythe, run and gun, and then move Scythe and claim the flag on that side. Since Warcasters don't contest, I would be able to score that flag safely. But that didn't happen, so instead of using the Harpy to support my army, which I had initially planned to shoot the Proteus and then move it up the board so that I would be able to see at least barely. I'm looking at the board right now. If both of the Harpy's shots had hit Proteus, I think he would have been 2 inches off, and then I would be able to move 2 inches forward, and then my Banshee would have been able to see the Proteus. But since Scythe Whip, I had to shoot the Spell Martyr. So I spent my focus, if I'm not mistaken, to be able to ensure that. And then not being able to push Proteus into the position I want, I decided to save the shot and try and shoot Absylonia and maybe trigger a transfer. But with the high defense, the Harpy shot doesn't hit. Looking at the Battlereport now, what I didn't notice, and then I was actually afraid of the Angelius here. I was assuming that Matt would have charged from this position as he had Eyeless Sight, but I forgot Eyeless Sight does not work for line of sight obstruction like houses. So with that, ending the Harpy's activation, I activate Fight and then pot his feet, as I know this is the feat. Now what my mistake here is, I was planning to save the Banshee's shots for the slam gun, as I would have been able to slam the Ogrons and then probably killed a couple more and then reduce their defense because of knockdown if I had slammed. So I didn't do that. I should have done that, as the Banshee wouldn't be able to charge anyone either way. So this is where the mistake happens. Because the Banshee is blocking Thyron's way, I wanted to protect Thyron with the Banshee. So I should have activated the Banshee first, used it to block the charge and line of sight from the Proteus, and then I should have moved Thyron in. But in this case, I moved Thyron first. I moved him right beside the Rubble Patch, which, as I look right now, it works, as Thyron's feat says at the beginning of a unit's activation, started within control range, they get an extra dice on their attack roll. But what I didn't read is the second part, which is I get killing spree if they are still within Thyron's control range, which at this point, once I charge my models, they would be outside of the control range, and I only get the extra dice. But I was hoping for killing spree to be able to push farther into Matt's zones and Matt's deployment zone, protecting Thyron, the flag, and then leaving him with no infantry to score the circle zone. So either way, that's my major mistake. I should have moved the Banshee first, shot off his gun, try and knock down as many of the Ogrons as I can, and then activate Thyron for the feat and then better positioning. So after that, after Thyron, I start the next activation with the Mage Hunter Assassin. I was hoping she would be able to do all of the work, as with the extra Mat 7 and extra dice against Def 15s wouldn't be a problem, as the average minimum for a dice roll is 7, and then the extra dice would be 8. I would hit consistently. So in this case, I charged one of his Ogrons. I managed to kill it. I killing spree into the flag, swing the next attack from killing spree onto Solo. I managed to kill it. just barely enough because of decapitation. I then moved a little bit further in and tried to kill another of the Ogrins, but then I whiffed. If the Banshee didn't, if the Mage Hunter didn't, I would have actually been able to just kill the entire squad with just the Mage Hunter assassin. But yeah, that didn't happen. So I had to follow in with the Mage Hunter infiltrators, which I really wanted to just block the path. I wanted to engage the Proteus from behind. That didn't happen, so I had to charge them into the Ogrins, and I managed to kill off the remaining two regular guys, leaving the squad with the character attachment and two members. And I think this is another of my mistakes. I repositioned all of my guys into reach of the Ogrins. What I think I should have done is I should have positioned the Mage Hunter infiltrators in a way wherein should Matt's vengeance trigger, he would act. Should he kill one of my guys, he would berserk into more of his own guys. So you'll see me getting punished for this reposition in the next turn, in Matt's turn. So after the Mage Hunter infiltrators, I then activate Narn. I charge in on the. Sorry. For the Mage Hunter infiltrators, only managed to kill one of the Ogrins, so mistaken, as they are a unit of 6, including the 8. So I use Narn and charge him and kill the one of the Ogrins, and then using sprint and parry, I managed to get away from the Ogrin squad and engage the Proteus, just so that getting free strikes from a weapon master even at POW 9 would be pretty damaging to the Proteus. So Matt would need to use somebody to kill Narn, or he would need to use the Proteus to kill Narn. In this case, I think that gamble paid off. You'll see in the next turn. My last activation for this turn is the Spears of Scyrah. I just moved them into the right behind the forest so that I am able to support either the Harpy or the Banshee, whichever of Matt's Warbeasts get in range. So with that, I end my turn. Let's move on to Matt's turn 3. For Matt's turn 3, at the end of my turn 2, I actually score 1 objective point for the flag. So we begin with Matt's turn 3. He starts off with his vengeance moves from the Blackened Ogrins, and like I said, my bad reposition movements are punishing me right now. Matt manages to kill 3 of my dudes just with his reposition. He manages to just his vengeance move from Goran, and the only benefit to that for me is he berserks into one of his own guys, causing a tough check, and then knocking him down. So the last Ogren manages to miss. The last available Ogren on Vengeancing manages to miss, leaving me 3 Mage Hunter Infiltrator squads. So we begin the actual turn with Absylonia. She pops her feet, if I'm not mistaken, and then kills Narn, who is engaging Proteus from behind. So with that, this activates Absylonia's Alpha Hunter, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't have the cards ready compared to before. So either way, the Alpha Hunter grants 2 inches of movement, 2 inches of speed to all of his battle groups. So I think this was a mistake that I managed to miss. I would have positioned Narn in a better manner had I remembered that. So either way, Matt continues the rest of his turn. He activates Angelius, and then my lucky mistake here was that he wasn't able to charge. My bad mistake is I should have rotated Sight in a manner to prevent any backstrikes. So either way, Angelius moves into Scythe's back arc, reducing her defense to 14. Matt manages to kill Scythe with all his attacks. He swings into the. I don't think. Sorry. He kills Scythe, but does not manage to do anything to Harper. So with that, he follows through with Proteus. With the extra speed and the Eyeless Sight and the feat, Matt manages to charge my Banshee. You'll see here that he does something like a reposition. Note that Proteus or his army does not have that. I agreed to let Matt move his positioning because I think he was doing proxy moves and then he forgot to commit and then continued on with his attack. But what you see here, the final position for Proteus is the actual intent. So I'm going with intent over actuals, as I don't want to have a game wherein my opponent loses because of mistake. I want to win, or I want to play a game wherein both me and my opponent are playing our best and we don't lose because of a stupid mistake like forgetting to commit the movement. So either way, Proteus charges my Banshee, he spends all of his attacks on it, he kills it, and then with the tentacle, Matt buys the tentacle attack for his last fury, and then swings at Thyron. I manage to shrug off the attack. I think Matt only deals 1 damage to Thyron right after damage calculation, which was a lucky break for me. I think he was rolling triple ones for damage here. I think twice. So his last activation is the Blighted Ogrins. He uses the Knockdown Ogrin forfeits its movement to shake off Knockdown, and then he uses Gorag and charges him into Mage Hunter number 3. He swings and kills most of it, leaving all but 1. His attack misses on the Mage Hunter Assassin, so it's a lucky break for me. And I think the Ogrin, one of the regular Ogrins here, kill one of the Mage Hunter infiltrators. Berserk activates and he swings into his own guy, which kills him. And again, like I said, it was a lucky break for me, as now he is now out of reach, unable to touch Mage Hunter Assassin with his last guy. So this is very crucial, as sure, he manages to deny me the point, and then he scores 1 for himself at the end of his activation, for Absylonia being on the center zone. Here we move on into my turn 3. So for my turn 3, I activate I upkeep both Storm Rager and Fury from Thyron, leaving me at 4 focus. I start off the turn activating Thyron, using all of my focus to hit the Proteus. I think I leave him at only 6 or 7 hit points after Thyron's attacks. I was contemplating if I should have I should have used all of my focus to do this. Doing this leaves me with no focus and my shields down. Even with Storm Rager, a fully buffed Warcaster would be able to kill me, but thankfully Absylonia does not have Eyeless Sight or True Sight. I am unable to be charged from this position. Even with Absylonia's speed of 7, he would have had to run to engage Thyron. My other threat here was the Blighted Ogrins, as even with 2 guns, I think he would be able to kill Thyron should they touch him after their vengeance moves. So either way, I leave the Proteus at 6 points. I then activate the Banshee, the Harpy. The Harpy moves moves in front of the Angelius, makes his attacks. I think they don't do any significant damage. and oh no, I think I deal at least 5 points of damage. My next activation here is the Spears of Scyrah, and this is another mistake of mine. I misread their reposition as 5, not 3. So I was hoping to be able to kill both of Matt's Warjacks or War Beasts and then reposition into the zone and also threaten Absylonia. But they only have reposition 3, so I don't manage to do that. Either way, they managed to kill both Angelius and the Proteus with 3 attacks with Weapon Master and Fury at PS 14. Yeah, they're PS 11 Weapon Masters with Fury, they would be PS 14. So that's lucky break for me as I'm keeping my last heavy hitter alive, and they have contributed very well as they killed both of the heavy war beasts. After them, I activate the Mage Hunter Assassin. A lucky break, I managed to kill Gorag with 1 strike, giving me full control of the black. I then use the last remaining Mage Hunter prayer. Without the feat, without gang, and essentially no support, I don't think I would be able to kill the last remaining Ogre, so I decided to run him up and steal the objective from Matt. As mentioned, Warlocks and Warcasters do not contest objectives. So with that, I end the turn. I score 2 points, and Matt scores nothing. This leaves the current score count at 3-1 in my favor. Matt's turn 4 is pretty short. He just moves into the circle zone, kills the Mage Hunter Infiltrators, blocking the charge lane from Absylonia. He casts a spell targeting Scyrah, Spear of Scyrah number 2 and misses. He then activates the last remaining. On his maintenance, I forgot to mention that the Ogren misses his vengeance attack on the Mage Hunter Assassin, and then his final activation, he activates the last remaining Ogren, charges into the Mage Hunter Assassin, and manages to kill him. This ends Matt's turn 4. So my turn 4 is relatively quick. I see that the Ogren is facing behind Thyron, and that's the last remaining model in Matt's army that is not a Warlock. So I use Thyron, I activate him, I charge him, and kill the last Ogren, winning by attrition. So thanks for it was a very close game. It could have swung either way, but I'm thanking Matt. I managed to get the first win on the channel. My first win on the channel. So thanks. Let's move on to the post-game thoughts. So thanks for watching up to the end of the game. If you're here, again, I'm thanking Matt for the game. Don't forget to go to his Instagram page. Links down in the description below. So let's talk about the game. The CID for Thyron is very, very beautiful. This is actually what I hoped Thyron would be when he first came out. So yeah, as you can see, it's very efficient. Even what used to be low efficiency models for Red, which is in my opinion the Mage Hunter Infiltrators, made them into a big powerhouse as they are now hitting consistently. With Gang and their combo strike, they are able to kill mid-armor models with ease, and then with Shadows of the Retribution, they get passed up. And then they also get a points drop from CID. Very, very glorious. What I hope would have been the secret here was the Mage Hunter Assassin. If I had placed Thyron better, and if she didn't whiff, I would have been able to kill all of Matt's Ogrens with just the Mage Hunter Assassin. Another secret tech here is I could have given Narn, Storm Rager, instead of Thyron, and then I would have 2 big heavy hitter, Weapon Master heavy hitters that could pressure better. But with the positioning, I think it was better for me to put the Storm Rager Thyron. That protected him from the Proteus. So yeah, if you think I could have played something differently, if I could have changed a little bit of my tactics to do better, although a win is it's the first win. I'm very excited about this. But I'm sure there are still other options here that I did not see. So yeah, please write it down in the comments below. I am taking that into account. For the battle report again, I don't have extra funds for a new mic right now. Hopefully, I get extra income from the office or whatever budget, and I will buy that mic. Otherwise, what do you think I could do to improve your enjoyment on this battle report? Please write it down. I would love to talk to you. If you want to schedule a match with me, uh, please tell me. Let's schedule it out, work it out on Discord. My next match, I managed to finally have that match with Sean. It's also an exciting match. I'm using Garrett too, trying to see how the CID affected him. It's also a very close, very exciting match. Please wait for that. I'm still in the process of editing that. I'm probably going to release that next week. If you think I am qualified enough to do commentary about casters, CID, whatever you think would help you play the game or play it better, please tell me. I might spend some time doing research and I might do a segment on the casters and the lists that I am running. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you're still here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell icon so that you get reminded for my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.